Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this. Yes, my name is Finn, and welcome to today's edition of Crack of Noon, the morning-ish show where we talk about bullshit. It is Friday, the 3rd of August, somehow. Yes, we did it! We started at exactly the right time. We did it. We finally made it on time. Good thing I'm leaving for 2 weeks, but I finally did it. Yes, how's everyone doing? I hope you're having a good Friday. I hope you're planning a good weekend. I know I am. Yeah, I'll be pretty stacked up this weekend in terms of activities. We'll get to that later. But yeah, hope you're all having a good one. How was your week? How was your working week? Yeah, how's everyone? How's the chat? Tell me how you're doing. I just opened a box. I have no reason to open the box because all it has is a pen. It's a very nice pen, but I just opened the box for no reason. Consciously, I saw the box over here, I pulled it over and I opened it, and I don't know what I expected to find, but when I opened the box I was like, oh, a pen. I closed the box again. Okay. I can't really blame this on Monday since it's not. How's everyone? Yes, it is Friday. It is the last day I'll be streaming because way late tonight I'll be flying off to Canada for 2 weeks. Yes, I'm going on vacation with the fams. I should never really say the fams, should I? Family, the relatives is what I should be saying. Yeah, pretty excited. There's a lot of stuff planned. We're gonna be basically spending all of our time around Vancouver, and my voice is already going. This is a good start. We're going to be spending a lot of time around Vancouver and the surrounding area, which is pretty cool. I actually found out because my sister actually notified me of this last night, and I didn't know this was going on. Fuck, I forget the name of the convention. Anime Rev? Let's see. I'm an idiot. Click the link. Yeah, Anime Revo, Anime Revolution, whatever it's called. It's on like right the fuck now, so it'll be like there's a lot of stuff happening at that con while I'm there. So I might go and check that out depending on how jet lagged I am. There's a lot of good guests and panels on though. Like this has caught me a bit by surprise. If I do go, I want to see. There's a few voice actors I want to see. There's Clifford Chapin, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He's the English voice actor of Bakugo in My Hero Academia. Bakugo is an entirely different anime. So I want to maybe see him. Sarah Weidenheft. It's an unfortunate last name. I didn't know that was her last name. But she plays Toru in Dragon Maid, so I want to see her potentially. ProZD, the YouTuber guy that makes those fun, like little 10-second videos about nonsense, he's there as well, so I maybe want to see him. They're all there on the Saturday, which could give me a little bit of rest before I go. There are a few panels on as well, starring most of those guys. Who's Richard Ian Cox? Okay, he voice acted in Inuyasha, Dragon Ball Z Kai. Nothing I'm aware of based on this list anyway. But yeah, I want to see if I can make time to go to that. I don't know if any of you guys are in the Vancouver area, but let me know if you are. Because maybe you're going to this. Maybe I'll get to meet you. Could be a fun time. We'll get. I don't know what the end to that sentence is. Oh, there's some Japanese voice actors as well. Most of what they've voiced, I haven't really watched the subs for those, but there's the Japanese voice actor of L from Death Note. There's the Japanese voice actor of I'm going to pronounce this name wrong. Yaoyorozu. That was pretty good. And My Hero Academia. What do you do? She voices for a bunch of stuff that are actually good anime, I know, but I haven't watched. So like Inuyasha, Bleach, Fullmetal Panic, etc. Another Bleach voice actor from the looks of things. Yeah, there's some cool guests. But the three I listed at the start were probably the main ones I'm gonna want to see. Other than that, I'll probably just hang around the market stalls and go to some panels that I'm interested in. But yeah, that was like, I didn't know this was happening, so this falls on a pretty good date. I'm actually wondering, because I've only been to Irish cons, and the market stalls there are fairly limited. The one in Belfast is like limited to one small-ish room, so there's not a lot of stuff. Dublin Comic Con was a lot bigger, but I thought it had a lot of the same stuff. I'm wondering, does Canada have like different cool unique shit? So I'm gonna definitely see if I can go there. But yeah, that's cool. Other than that, we'll just be probably like hanging out, touring around the touristy sites around Vancouver, heading to the wilderness and such. I know my mother and some other people want to see some whales, so we might be going to see the whales. Whales terrify me. They're huge. I can't remember whether they want to see whales or dolphins, but I'm pretty sure it's whales. Do they have dolphins in Canada? I'll find out. I will report back to y'all on that. Yeah. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be yeah, I haven't left the house really in a long time. So leaving to another country is exactly what I need. I think I need to experience the outside again and talk to people. This will be actually my first trip outside of Europe. The farthest I've been away, I think, is Spain. Yeah, Ibiza would have been the furthest island away, so I've been there. It was cool, but I'm very excited for Canada. I've always wanted to. Well, there's tons of exciting. Stumbling over my words. Too many thoughts appearing at once. There's tons of places I want to see in Europe as well, but I'm excited to finally step out of that little continent. Little continents? Pretty big continent. Yeah, that'll put Canada off the list of the bucket list of things I want to see in the world. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. Pretty fucking excited. I got a bunch of stuff to keep me company on the long ass plane journey. I got to read the second half of Spice Wolf, so I'll be reading most of that. I'm on chapter 4, I believe. I've been reading this one pretty slowly because I realized that when I was reading this, that's I still have like the fix for the anime, and this is still like covering anime material. So what I'll do is I'll read a chapter, and then since the episode covers a chapter, I'll go watch the episode, and then I'll just go back and forth on that. I don't know if I'm gonna bring Blood, Sweat, and Pixels with me, which is my other book that I want to read. But I'm pretty sure I have enough, and I don't think I'll get to that, so I'll leave that here. I'll have my laptop, obviously I'll have my Switch, probably playing Octopath Traveler. I'll have my phone for music via Spotify. I'll also have the rest of Mythos, which is Stephen Fry's audiobook. I was listening to more of that last night. Super long, but super interesting. It's all about Greek mythology. Pronounce your words. Yeah, I'm super excited for that. I actually thought I was getting close to the end of that audiobook because I was just listening to it when I was in the bath last night. And yeah, that's right. I fucking take baths, like nice relaxing hot baths, and listen to audiobooks. Don't fucking judge me, alright? Maybe I have some scented candles, maybe I don't. That's for me to know. But I was listening to it and I was like, I think I'm pretty close to the end. And then Stephen Fry's voice got to the end of a chapter and he was like, end of part 1. And I'm like, what? I'm like 4 hours into the book. And I looked and there's apparently still 11 hours left in the book. So yeah, the first section was just the introduction of all the Olympians and how the world was created according to the Greek mythology. But then I think it's going on to the more of the what's the word I'm looking for? The more recent, I guess, but they're all ancient Greece, so how recent can it be? Yeah, the more recent, I guess, more contemporary myths. Probably going to go over stuff like Achilles and the like and all that goodness. Yeah, I've got plenty of stuff to keep me coming in and playing. I'm excited, I guess. I'm worried about jet lag because I've never gone on a flight this long before. Apparently jet lag is a lot worse going east than going west. I'm going west departing and east returning. So I don't know why the fuck that is. That's like something they know, that just jet lag is worse going east. Perhaps something to do with like skipping hours rather than saving them. I don't know. But yeah, I'll be 8 hours behind my usual time, so that's gonna be a shock. To be fair, I've been like essentially prepping myself my whole life for this by staying up till 4 or 5 a.m. So I'll be fine. I'll be fine going that way. It's going this way coming back. I'll be having issues. Crack of noon. Yeah, we got a lot of news stories today to cover. I got an interesting topic of the day to talk about. I've even got a video of the day, which we don't usually do, but I have a pretty good one. And then, yeah, it's going to be a pretty good show, I think. I'm just making sure that we haven't actually got any breaking news stories that I'm forgetting before I start. No? We're good. Okay. Let's then get into the news. I just stole that from the Kind of Funny Games Daily, but I don't care. I need a jingle for news, and I need to make one before I come back. But yeah, just a word of note that I'll be there'll be no Crack of Noon for at least 2 weeks. No streams or anything. I'll be updating you guys via social media with like the nice pictures and the some videos of stuff, I guess. I'll also been shooting video while I'm there for like a vlog type thing. I hate to use that word because like I don't know what I picture, but like it's gonna be a nice like travel vlog, and yeah, I'm gonna upload that when I come back and right back into this and tell you all the stories about the adventures I had. Maybe I died. Who knows? You'll have to watch Crack of Noon when I come back to find out. But yeah, without further ado, the news. Yes, our first news story of the day comes from Eurogamer. I don't know why I said that like an evil genius, but I did. Spyro Reignited. Gonna start that again because my voice cracked. There. Spyro Reignited Trilogy Physical Edition requires download for second and third games. Yes. Alongside his penchant for headbutting sheep, Spyro is probably the most famous for his bright purple hue. Today, however, some Spyro fans are seeing red as news. I like that. Some Spyro fans are seeing red as news has emerged that only the first game will be playable without a download on the physical edition of Spyro Reignited Trilogy. This change was spotted by the ever sharp-eyed Wario64. He's a pretty good Twitter account to follow if you don't already, if you're interested in like really recent gaming news. Who took a closer look at the fine print on the new box art for the games. There is a message at the bottom, reads, "Requires content download." Fans then discovered this sentence had also materialized on the official Spyro website next to the photos of Xbox and PlayStation editions. Players have taken issue with obligatory download for several reasons. One, as highlighted by Reddit user Nauseous Penguin, this ties into the game's storefront DRM, meaning that when Spyro Reignited Trilogy servers eventually shut down, which they will eventually, the games could be unplayable from newly installed physical copies. Others point out that it could obviously be a problem for players without internet and those with metered connections. The Spyro fan base quickly began demanding answers from Activision. From a statement to Game Informer, it seems the publisher views the downloads as a minor issue. Activision stated, as with most games today, downloading... I love this quote. As with most games today, downloading an update after purchase is quite common. Their language on packaging and on the website let players know the requirements for Spyro Reiginited Trilogy. I.e., they should know better by now that you can't get by without internet. And you know what? To an extent, I actually agree with Activision here. You know, Activision, they're a company of the future. They're only focused on innovation and propelling forward to the future. You know, Activision are definitely not a relic of the past. It's almost like we solved this issue 5 or 7 years ago with the PlayStation and Xbox debacle. The always online DRM players universally hate it. God, this back off I have. I'm sorry. Maybe I don't want to get sick before Canada. Solve your shit, Activision. Really fucking terrible. Oh god, I think I have like sarcasm-itis or ever going around. But yeah, it is. In all seriousness, no, it's almost like we fixed this years ago when we all decided as a gaming community that we didn't want always online DRM on our games. We want the full playable game on our disc, and actually, did we? I can't remember. Hold on, maybe I'll just pull this up here just to see. I can't remember. I'll just put on my headphones. Did we decide that? Did we decide that DRM's a bad thing? Did that possibly lead to the downfall of the Xbox?
In addition, PlayStation 4 disc-based games don't need to be connected online to play.
Okay. There seems to be pretty universal applause for that. So they must like it, I guess? Is that what we're deciding? Yeah, hold on, let me... Maybe they're just cheering for the Jack Chinton's suit.
If you enjoy playing single-player games offline, PS4 won't require you to check in online periodically.
No, they definitely like that. It's definitely the lack of DRM that they like.
And it won't stop working if you haven't authenticated within 24 hours.
Yeah, definitely they like it. Yeah. Whoops. Oh. Sorry, Jack Chinton. Jack Chinton has left now, which is so sad because he's like the face of PlayStation man. But anyway, pretty clear. Don't do this shit, alright? There's a bunch of people without internet or with slow ass internet that this is gonna suck for. Put all 3 games on the goddamn disc, right? Even if you have to delay it, it's fine. If you go to the sentence down here, it seems like the developer Toys for Bob, needed extra time to work in the game beyond the deadline for physical release. So yeah, obviously, when you talk about release dates for a game, about 3 weeks to a month before that at least, the game will need to be in a somewhat finished state for physical release because it needs to go to production. It needs to, all these discs need to get manufactured and put in boxes and stuff. So that's why day one updates are constantly more common recently. But yeah, they need extra time to work in the game beyond the deadline for physical release. Thus, a day one patch would be the way to give the developer a few more weeks to finish its work. We're guessing that the update in question might be fairly hefty, however, as clearly 2 games are unplayable without it. But just how badly is the developer running behind schedule? And is it really fair for players to be given an incomplete physical copy instead of delaying the release? No, I don't think it is. Like, September's already fucking stacked with games, so it wouldn't be the worst possible thing for Activision to delay this and just make sure that we get the whole product on the disc, right? Like, I generally don't mind, like, in terms of my my schedule for playing. Oh fuck, the schedule. Shit. So if they delay the game, I'm gonna have to take a look at the schedule. Okay, let me see here. Spyro comes out there. But if they delay it, then I can't get the plat before that. So that's It's all fucked if that happens. You know what? Don't delay it. I'm okay with the downloads now. Don't delay it. No, but honestly, it sucks. Right, Activision, fix your shit. We sold this years ago. SimCity, the EA tried to do it with SimCity and then they backed off immediately. Just don't do it. Our next news story today comes from that's my face, that's me. I meant to press F11 for full screen. That's what I did. WWE 2K19 introduces new TARS challenges. Yes, they announced on Twitter the other day, which I was very excited about, that they were gonna detail some of the new features of the game. I was hoping it would be GM mode. It's not GM mode, and I'm pissed, but this looks kind of cool, maybe. WWE 2K19 will introduce a new TARS mode, in which you will be pitted against a string of opponents in a row. The mode will boast rosters filled with superstars, along with varying win conditions and limitations to challenge you to think outside the box or ring. The official site details the new mode. TARS come in two varieties: Gauntlet, which will be finished in one session without a loss, and Steps, which you'll play at your own pace. There's not much more to it than that. I'm going to pull up some of the images that they gave. Hold on, I need to get access to WWE 2K19 Twitter. Caleb's tweeting at me. Caleb tweeted, I tweeted last night like a Caleb quote. Because I was watching him stream and I don't know how we got on the subject, but I mentioned Hufflepuff from Harry Potter, and Caleb's like, Hufflepuff? I don't even know Star Wars. Anyway, that was like a funny little thing. Is this the thread that they had? Hold on, I need to go to the website or whatever the fuck. Here we go. Finally found it. Had to dig through the Twitter, but nope, that's not the one I was looking for. I need the fucking site with all the images. Okay, WWE 2K19. Where was this website? WWE. I'm confused. Where did I find this? Oh, here it is. Ah. This was the website to which I was referring. It's the dev blog talking about the TARS. So there's some screenshots here. Basically, there's like these different TARS where you can go through these like categories of opponents. Essentially, I think this one is like legends. Yeah, legends, the People's Star. Here's some other types: Tour of WWE, Monsters, Women's Revolution, etc., etc. It doesn't look that interesting. I don't know if I'll be taking part in it. There's a currency up here, which is probably bullshit and probably some 2K bullshit. But we'll hold our judgment on that for now. Yeah, it's like an interesting, cool challenge to do. I think you can take your My Player, which is new. Like you create a superstar in previous games, they're integrating it to the 2K system, where it's like a My Player and My Career sort of thing. So you can take your player and fight all these guys, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Then AJ Styles has his own like $1 million TAR, which is like a super hard thing, which is cool, I guess. And then this was the screenshot I was actually most interested in, because like fuck TAR mode. You can see in the thing here, there's My Player TARs, which are currently on, but there's these other modes called My Player, which I assume is creating all your guy and your entrances and your stats. But then there's My Career and Road to Glory. So Road to Glory, I assume, is some sort of story mode to do with your My Player. But then there's My Career, which is interesting because that could possibly hint at a GM mode. Because when you think back to the old games, that's how in the menus, that's how you would access GM mode. You go into the My Career section, and then it would either be season mode where you play as a superstar, or you went down to GM mode. So if this is a working menu, I could click My Career. I'd definitely do that right now. But there's hope yet for GM mode based on this. The UI looks good in this one. In this game, I mean, like the UIs in WWE games tend to be buggy and slow. This looks quite clean. Again, it could still be buggy and slow, despite the fact that it looks nice. But we'll see. I this doesn't sway me to buy the game at all. It still stands. If there's GM mode, I'll buy it. If there's not, I probably won't. So yeah, cool little feature though. If I do end up buying a game, so yeah. Going on to our third news story of the day. It's going to be a short one, but an interesting one nonetheless. Comes from IGN. I'm going to try my best to pronounce this name. I'm sorry. I'm butchering the name, games journalist, but Shabana Arif, I assume, is a journalist name. PS4 breaks 80 million units sold. PS4 sales actually slowed down as predicted. Sony has revealed that last quarter's PlayStation 2 hardware sales has brought the total units to 82.2 million. It's unsurprising that it slowed down this quarter, seeing as the system has already been out for a long time now, but it's like post-Christmas, so January, February, March, there's not going to be a lot of console sales in that window unless there's like a new hot game out, which I don't think there was, except for God of War. Or did that come out in April? We'll see. Yeah, Sony has released its Q1 2018 figures, which reveal that 3.2 million PS4 units were shipped to retailers in the period between April 1st and June 30th. Oh, okay, so Q1 is April to June instead of January to... Okay, because it's their fiscal year. Okay, that makes sense then. And God of War would be included in that. So yeah. Bringing the total number of consoles shipped since its introduction to the market 5 years ago to 82.2 million, which is fucking astonishing. The figure is down from the same period last year, but Sony's forecast this year predicts that the sales will be down by 3 million year on year, with total units sold in the vicinity of 16 million. At the end of the fiscal year, Sony had shipped 79 million PS4 consoles worldwide. PS4 software sales have proven to be a boon this quarter, with first-party titles like God of War, and some third-party titles significantly exceeding expectations. They are up 36% from 348.1 billion yen for this time last year to 472.1 billion yen in this quarter. Various financial things. There's not much to dissect here other than Sony... the sales are slowing down in this generation because we're building up for the new gen. However, still selling pretty well. I wonder if it will eclipse... I think it will eclipse the Xbox 360 and the PS3. It's very, very close to doing that. So we'll do that by the end of the generation at least. Then there is the Wii, the PlayStation 2, and the PlayStation 1 is the main... like giant selling consoles that they have to take on. I believe that the PlayStation 1 sold 100 million. So I think maybe they can pass that just about. The PlayStation 2, I don't think they'll pass it. It sold like 150 million plus. That's of course because the infamous it being a DVD player, so everyone bought one. Even in like developing countries, it was a really cheap DVD player. So I don't think it will surpass that. The Wii, I can't remember where it's at. I think it's at 110, 115, maybe not. But yeah, that just interested me. Hardware slowing down because everyone has a PS4 at this point, but software continuing to go strong. Good for Sony. You'll also notice that, again, continuing the theme of just words, tripping over the words. I'm excited for Canada. That's the reason to blame. Yeah, Microsoft don't release their sales figures for Xbox Ones just because anything they do release will just look like, well, you haven't sold as much as PS4, have you? That's an unfair comparison, but, well, it's sort of a fair comparison. They're competitors. But, yeah, there's no good outcome for Microsoft releasing their sales figures. So we have to rely on third-party sources for that. My PS4 is still a day one PS4. It's still holding up pretty well. I'll hopefully be able to get through this generation without having to invest in a PS4 Pro. So, you can do it, little guy. I believe in you. Stand strong. Yeah. Hopefully he'll make it. Anyway. Yes, fourth and final news story of the day. Let me show you guys. Blip. The first picture from the set of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. This is not that picture. I wish it was. It isn't. Yes. In case you didn't know, they're making a Sonic the Hedgehog movie at all. I only found this out recently as well. It's going to be sort of live action and animated blend. So like the humans are going to be live action. I think Eggman's going to be live action, and Sonic's just going to be a little animated douchebag running around. I don't think I could hate that any more than I already do. But yeah, let's read the article before we talk about it some more. The Sonic the Hedgehog movie has begun filming in Vancouver. Oh, maybe I'll get to see them. Which means people are approaching the set and taking pictures. The first picture from the set of the movie, comes from the Twitter account Twip98, which posted a photo of a billboard of the movie's setting. Welcome to Green Hill, the little town with a big heart. Okay. Gonna definitely put a like on that. Green Hill is a small town in which the movie is located. A one-sentence synopsis released last month summarizes the story about a small town sheriff named James Marsden, coming together with the town to save Sonic from the government pursuing him. This movie is a mix of CG and live action, which presumably Sonic and his friends being CG. The movie is scheduled for release December 2019. This is the fucking weirdest shit this movie even existed. I think I heard somewhere that Jim Carrey is gonna play Eggman. Which is fucking weird, because Jim Carrey doesn't do movies anymore. And he's gone a little bit crazy. If you've seen videos, he's like a painter, and he's like having super deep thoughts, probably high all the time. But he's coming back to play Eggman in a fucking Sonic live action movie. Okay. Part of me hopes this movie is terrible. I think this movie is going to be this generation's Space Jam, where it's going to be a constant fucking meme. Right? Because like the animated and human mix. I hope it's a terrible ass movie that I can watch. Like, there's like scales of terrible movies, obviously. There is a good movie, like first trilogy of Star Wars. You're talking like Jurassic Park, good movie level, right? Then there's average movie, right? Like the Tupac movie that came out recently. It was average. The Churchill movie. Space Jam is sort of on that level. It's an average movie in terms of movies. Then there's bad movies, which just suck. To my knowledge, I can't recall any like just plain bad movies. Probably because they're not that memorable in my head. But below the layer of bad movies, there's an even lower layer, and that's known. I'm gonna entitle that the what's his name? The Tommy Wiseau layer, right? Where it's so bad it becomes a comedy and it's amazing, right? You're talking Thanksgiving. You could be talking this, right? I hope the movie is so bad. I hope the CG is so bad. I hope the acting is fucking terrible. And I hope Jim Carrey is the one qualified actor in the whole thing. You know what? I'm excited for this now. I want it to be terrible. I want it to be an absolutely terrible movie. So yeah. That's our last news story of the day. I'm going to be checking Twitter again just to make sure I didn't miss any potentially breaking news stories. Again, it's a pretty slow news day. It will be for a while until the dust settles on E3. I know it's been a long time since E3, it seems like, but we still need to wait for games to come out and more games to be announced. And yeah, there's some interesting stuff like card games generating $1.5 billion in revenue in 2018. That's cool. BioWare talking about Dragon Age and stuff. Cool. Ninja being the first Twitch streamer of 10 million followers. Good for him. Sure. Octopath selling 1 million copies worldwide. I want to see. I'm just going to pull this up here. The secret 5th news story that we didn't know about beforehand, but we're going into it anyway. Exceeded expectations by selling it in Japan a day after its release. That's a pretty cool image. I'm going to retweet that. Octopath Traveler will be what I'm playing mostly. I'm playing. I'll probably be listening to Mythos audiobook and playing this, so I'm excited. I'm glad it's doing well. Does anyone break the seals down by area? Forming Persona 5? No, okay. I imagine this does a hell of a lot better in Japan than it does anywhere else. Constantly selling out and shit, the people buying physical releases. But yeah, awesome for them. I'm glad they reached their 1 million thing, and hopefully it'll show Square Enix that there is still room in the market for old school JRPGs. I know a lot of people wanted this to turn out to be the next Final Fantasy game. Alas, it was not to be. But yes. Yeah. Okay, we're done with the news. We have a video of the day coming up. I need to figure it out. Shit, I gotta look through my history. I should have prepared this beforehand, but I haven't. Let's see. Go through the YouTube history. I find it. Find a video. So this isn't anything new. It's a fairly typical video of let me just make sure that we're on the right tag here. Bloop bloop bloop. Yeah, it's a fairly common video where you see like someone going to the dentist or getting an operation and they get like high as shit on the hospital drugs and they start talking some crazy bullshit. But I saw this yesterday on Reddit and this has to be my favorite one of those. So let's watch together, shall we? Yeah. Okay, I'll just play it for you guys. Hopefully you guys can hear it.
But I need to be there.
Yeah, you do.
I need to get out of here.
If you go to sleep, you might sleep it off faster.
She got an operation on her foot.
Dad! Have you told them?
Well, it's fixed.
Well, they fixed it. Though.
It's scary but also hilarious
Yeah,
how
we have a
fucked
cast
up your
on.
brain is under these things.
Oh, that's a good surgeon.
Nice.
She's so happy with her foot.
You see? You can't even see any marks.
That must be a wrinkle on my foot.
That guy's good, eh?
She's amazed.
It's like brand spanking new.
I'm gonna clip that and use it somehow.
Brand spanking new.
Spanking new. I love that.
The joke's on America. Joke is on America.
Take that, America.
Just look at it. Take that, America.
She's Canadian, by the way.
My foot is new. My foot is new. Look at it. Just look at it.
It's a very nice foot.
I don't even.
That's Canadian healthcare for you.
It's the healthcare system. It's America. Make America great again. Make Canada great always.
It's my favorite bit. See, you can very easily put like creepy music over this and this becomes a very different video. But this is fucking hilarious and I love like when this happens. This bitch is fucking blasted. She's in a different planet.
It's like not even fallen. Oh, that doctor was good.
Always good.
Vernon was the right choice.
She can't go to sleep. She's too excited about the foot. Okay, that's it. I just thought that was really fucking funny. I wanted to... See, I watched this yesterday, and I found it on Reddit, and I was sort of wondering, like, someone in the top comments on Reddit was like, I always find these videos like that. This dude has obviously never been like had an operation before where he's had to go under or get these sort of drugs that make you lubby. But he's like, I always like don't get how someone could like how someone could fuck with their brain that much. Like I always think these people are playing up, and I know from experience that even a little bit of those hospital medications can send you fucking loopy. I wish I had like a video of me for this. I sadly don't, because my parents don't understand the importance of social media and viral content. But I had to go under when I got my tonsils out, so that sucked. But apparently I was pretty fucking loopy after that. Apparently I didn't talk as much as that girl or anyone else, any of these other videos, so maybe it wasn't there wasn't much need to film it, but I just kept looking around. I couldn't stop. Like, I didn't blink nearly, I just kept like looking around. Then one time when I was a really young kid, I got like 3 or 4 teeth at least removed at the one time, so they put me under for that. Now I remember in the hospital, this pissed me off, and it still pisses me off to this day. When we were in the hospital, they had these like little like these little like cars like for kids, like these tiny little cars that kids could fit in, and it was like electric powered, so you could like actually put your foot in the pedal and go, mind you, at a very slow pace, but it was fun because you're a kid and you're in a car and you're driving. It's fucking around the hospital. It was fun and it was awesome. I didn't want to leave. I like, they couldn't get me out of the car to go to the surgery, so the nurse like kneeled down and she looked at me and she promised me, like, when you're done with this operation, we'll give you the car to keep. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's go. Obviously it wasn't because I was like 5, but I was like, yeah, let's go, let's do it, yeah. So that's all I remember. I remember like I don't know if this memory is correct in my head, but I remember like driving towards the operation room in this little car. But that's the last thing I remember before they put me under. I don't even remember being on the table at all. But I woke up and I was in like my dad's car, like the real car, the big car, and we were driving home. And I was like, the first thing I asked my dad was like, did we get the small tiny car? Did I get it? And he's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, fucking nurse lied to me. God damn it. One time I do remember vividly, but this was a bit more recent, but I was still pretty young. I was like 12 or 13, and because I have constant problems with my fucking knees. Like my knees just suck. They don't work good. So sometimes I'll just be like sitting down and they'll just dislocate. Right? It hasn't happened in a long time, but sometimes I'll just be sitting down pretty comfortably and I'm like, yeah. Hurts like a motherfucker, right? It's one night, it happened when I was about 12 or 13. It was really, really bad. And like my leg was completely fucked. Like I was just completely twisted sideways. It was gruesome to look at. I was in panic mode. My brother was there, and he was like, my brother has no sympathy for me at all in any of these kind of situations. So he basically just went, just fucking pop it back into place. It'll be fine. Just fucking pop it back. It's like, the knee is sideways, Ronan. It's like, but yeah, we eventually had to go to A&E. That sucked because A&E in this country sucks. The healthcare sucks. So I was waiting for like 3 or 4 hours in the waiting room at the early hours of the morning with my leg just completely fucked. I was on many painkillers, but it did not really help. I eventually got put into the room, and they were like, we need to take an MRI scan of your, can't remember, MRI or X-ray, I can't remember, but we need to take a scan of your knee. And I was like, well, how's that gonna work, right? Like, my knee's sideways, how am I gonna put it up on the thing? And she's like, yeah, that's a problem. So they gave me ibuprofen first, I think. If I remember the story right, they gave me ibuprofen first, and that had no effect on me. I wasn't feeling the pain any less. I wasn't. I was still pretty fucking conscious. So they waited for a long time afterwards, and I was like, okay, we'll give you diazepam. And once they gave it to diazepam, I felt the effects on that very quickly. I don't remember a lot of what I said. My parents were basically saying I was talking gibberish, but I do remember quite vividly the nurse coming back in. It's like, alright, Finn, do you think you're ready to take a scan of your leg now? I was like, yeah, let's go, whatever. It's like, do you think you could put your leg straight for us, Finn? It's like, so I could put it straight, I could twist it whatever way you want, it's fine. That's like, I was super like chill about the whole situation after that. Like, I could rotate my leg 360 degrees and I wouldn't care. But yeah, if you've never been in that situation before where you've had to undergo hospital medication and go Libby, it's a very strange experience. But I thought that was quite fun. Yeah, that's all I had to say. I thought it was a pretty fun video. I'm definitely gonna make it into a meme. the bit, my favorite bit, we're gonna relive this bit. I can't remember exactly where it is in the video.
Just like
Take that, America.
That's Canadian healthcare for you.
again.
That's my favorite bit.
Great again.
Make America great again.
Make Canada great always.
So good. I thought it was fitting too, since today I'm leaving for Canada. Okay, watch this. Make Canada great always. I'm gonna buy that hat. I will buy that hat. If I see it in Canada. Probably won't, because it's a fairly recent video. But yeah. Now it's time to move on to the topic of the day. Whoa, it's wacky. I don't know why I said it in that voice. Whoa, blah, blah. Yeah, today's a pretty interesting one, I think. But yeah, remember, you in the audience can suggest a topic of the day if you want. Yeah, I encourage you to do that, because otherwise I'll just talk about bullshit. But yeah, you can submit your topics various ways. There's a Google form. You can get the link if you're in the Twitch chat right now. You can write !topic in chat, and that will give you the link. If you're in my Discord, you can go to Crack of Noon info, and the link is there. If you are watching this on YouTube later and you want to submit a topic for the next show, you can go down to the description, and there should be a link somewhere down there as well. Today's topic comes from me, however, because I wanted to talk about this. Let me bring up the story. It's I wanted to make it a new story, but it's a bit more long form than that. So I wanted to make it the topic of the day. Since there's a lot of other stuff surrounding this that I want to talk about as well. So it has to do essentially with the press in the UK, the printed media in the UK, newspapers, magazines, etc. How journalism works in the UK. And if you're anything like if you live in the UK, you'll know it's shit. That we have some of the worst newspapers in the world, constantly fear-mongering bullshit headlines, and it's come to a point where I just don't read newspapers. Like, I'd be interested in reading a newspaper. I don't anymore, because all the UK newspapers, even if they are somewhat good journalists, they're quite biased usually. So this is a story that popped up recently, which I thought was quite interesting. I saw it on my Twitter feed, and then Eurogamer wrote a follow-up article about it. the headline is "An anime and tabloid Fortnite front page story." So the Daily Mirror, a UK scum newspaper, wrote this headline: "Fortnite made me a suicidal drug addict. Teens video game hell." And I have this exclusive fold out thing and thing. So I'm just going to read through some of this article. Popped up in the news station yesterday. Okay. So, dad saves his son, 17, from death plunge after he gets hooked on online craze. The front page continues. The exclusive by a journalist called Matthew Barber. His name will come up pretty soon, so remember his. Matthew Barber. Goes on. A boy's obsession with video game Fortnite ruined his life and drove him to a suicide bid. His dad had to physically stop him from jumping to his death. Carl Thompson, 17, from Preston, said, "Fortnite made me a suicidal, thieving, lying drug addict." Page 4 and 5 are a double-page splash in which Carl describes how he climbed to the ledge of the third floor bedroom window and prepared to leap to his death. "I was taking speed so I'd stay awake and play all night," Carl is quoted in saying, "but then I started needing more." Carl veils he stole from his parents to pay for Fortnite's latest weapons and upgrades. "I was exhausted doing all-nighters, so my mates said I should try amphetamines. I've always been anti-drugs, but all I wanted to do was play some of the game more, and this seemed to be the only way. One morning I urinated in a bottle by my desk and drank from another bottle." The suicide attempt occurred in April. Carl's parents, who say Fortnite is to blame for their son's troubles and expressed their shame in not spoiling their son, was in a bad place, called in Lancashire-based counsellor Steve Pope, his name will come up as well later on, and lad's life's getting back on track. At the end of the article, we see developer Epic decline to comment, thank God, as well as a note to say that the names of Carl and his parents were changed at their request, and interestingly we see the URL for the website of Steve Pope, what amounts to a plug for the counsellor's business. Now this, if it were true, would obviously be a terrible story. Like, I realise I'm preach more than anyone that Battle Royale games are the devil, but this is not what I mean. So yeah. If you haven't caught on by now, the article for the most part is bullshit. That seems to be the way of most of the Daily Mirrors and the UK press in general, how they print media. And in case you had any doubt on that, this article by Eurogamer, along with some tweets by Chris Pratt, goes into the process of how these stories come to light at all. So yeah, let's read on. The Mirror story has been roundly criticised on social media, with many of the UK games industry claiming that by singling out Fortnite, the report oversimplifies suicide and fails to discuss the potential for diagnosed and undiagnosed mental health problems being at play at the time of the teen's suicide attempt. Super important detail. Super important. We'll come back to that later. Video game addiction is a dirty phrase in the industry. I've reported on why I believe we should be more than willing to discuss addiction. And with games such as Fortnite and FIFA being such a huge hit with children, but what's particularly interesting is the case of the Mirror story is how it came to be in the first place. Mainstream media often reports on case studies such as these, when normal lives go wrong, essentially. Often these case studies are brought by newspapers and the journalists who work for them from the news agencies, who in turn have paid people for their stories. It turns out that the Mirror's the Mirror's piece Matthew Barber, the writer of the story, has form in this regard. So if you look at this photo, this is an email from last summer, I think, was the Pokemon Go craze, and this is an article basically reaching out to journalists if they have any sort of stories or anything about how Pokemon Go has ruined their lives or affected them in some way. So you can see it's Matthew Barber. In this case, he's writing for The Sun, another god-awful website. I believe in the Helsing anime they even took the piss out of it. So that's how bad it is. Query. I'm working on a story about Pokemon Go and urgently trying to speak to anyone who plays this who can describe any potential negative effects. Maybe it's affecting their sleep, their relationship, their work, etc. £100 fee, can provide copy control, and plug any relevant charity organisation. He meant to write plug, he said pug, he can't even spell that right. Please contact me ASAP if you're any help. Matthew. Eurogamer's then YouTube producer Chris Pratt decided to get in touch in a bid to see how far Barber was willing to push his agenda. So yeah, that's how I found out about the story initially. Chris Pratt, former writer at Eurogamer, now doing his own thing, which is pretty cool. Super talented journalist and all around just good dude. He was tweeting about this. So yeah, I'm just going to read through this thread of tweets. Let me tell you a story about Matthew Barber, the journalist that wrote this Daily Mirror article about Fortnite. 2 years ago, when Pokemon Go was the game of the moment, he sent this blanket email via response source asking for anyone to describe the potential negative effects in exchange for £100. He even suggests a few problems they might be willing to talk about. Again, it's that email that we read just a minute ago. This pissed me off too, Chris. These kinds of stories pop up with every mainstream trend, whether it's Fortnite or fidget spinners. But I figured the people writing them had at least a little more subtlety than this. So I emailed him a story to see what the rest of the process was like. I went with the subject header, Pokemon Go is ruining my marriage, and I wrote the most ridiculous tale I could manage. In it, my wife, Jessie, meets a new guy, James, at work. And they started catching Pokemon together with the office cat. They even had their own song. My favourite line, the betrayal hung in the air like a Pokeball that had been just thrown as the servers crashed. Gotta love Chris Pratt's sense of humour, first of all. But, continuing on, the next day he calls me for an interview on the phone. This was the bit that blew me away. He started the phone call by saying that although he figured certain parts of the story were embellished, that didn't matter. He'd write it anyway. Eventually the story broke down because he wanted to get a quote from Jessie herself, and actually, for it to be really juicy, maybe we should have split up. I lost my nerve at this stage, and you can see he provides the Twitter pic again here of the email. This might well work, but Editor wants to know if we can get a reaction comment from Jessie on this. Sorry, it looks like it won't work for us. Sorry if you actually split up, etc. So yeah, those ridiculous headlines you see in the Daily Mirror and the rest, that's how they get there. Fuck that. Again, this is continuing the theme that this isn't a one-time thing. Barber has been caught offering cash for stories before. In 2015, The Pulse, a trade magazine for GPs, reported Barber's attempt to pay patients who were negatively affected by junior doctors' strike for their stories. In a request seen by Pulse, Matthew Barber, who claimed to be the contributing editor for The Sun, explains he will offer a good fee for patients with tales of a nightmare A&E and who witness hospital staff shortages, The Pulse reported. We will be looking for patients who have been affected in some way, probably someone who has handled who's had an operation cancelled, or someone who experiences a nightmare at A&E or witnesses staff shortages at a hospital. Anything along the lines would suffice. We can pay a good fee and also provide complete copy control so you're 100% happy with any write-up, so your views are accurately represented. The Pulse later updated this story to say The Sun issued a statement distancing themselves from Barber. When The Sun tries to distance themselves from you, you know you're pretty fucking shady. On Twitter, The Sun's head of PR, Dylan Schrape, said The Sun has no position of contributing editor. Matthew Barber is a freelancer that does not represent the paper, nor was he asked in the specific case study request by anyone at The Sun. In 2013, Barber was exposed by Private Eye, which published his urgent request. Actually, make it full screen. Which published his urgent request for an experiment, who says tattoos will give you cancer, and yes, a fee was offered. I believe they have the email here. And this, yeah, this was printed. They printed it in a newspaper. The email, media outlet The Sun, freelance journalist Matthew Barber. Query: further to my last request, make it full screen. Further to my last request, I also now urgently need an expert who will say that tattoos can give you cancer. We can plug any relevant organisation, give copy approval, and pay a fee. You see there's a pattern to these emails. Please get back to me ASAP if you can help. So, and earlier this year, Barber took to NetMums to desperately request update from victims of the Manchester bombings. We can pay a good fee. For the tattoo and the Pokemon Go stories, Barber used a company called Response Source to help find the case study. Here's how it works. Journalists post their case study request on the Response Source website. This is then connected to news agencies and public relations people who may be able to provide relevant case studies. News agencies are behind many of the headlines that you read about in the UK press. These often specialise in real life or celebrity stories. Triangle News, for example, was behind a story about a woman who spent over £25,000 on a Disney obsession, and another story about a woman who married a 300-year-old dead pirate. This is journalism. We're leaving the European Union in a disastrous way. We have a fucked up government. Here in Northern Ireland we have no government, but this is what they're reporting on. News agencies call on people to sell their stories to them. This can be lucrative for all parties involved. As the story moves up the chain from the news agency to national newspapers, thousands of pounds can change hands. Eurogamer, who obtained an email sent to Response Source on behalf of Barber dated 8th of June 2018, Barber, who is working on a story for the Sunday Mirror this time, wants to urgently speak to a family whose child has become addicted to Fortnite. We need this to be as strong as possible, Barber. The case study can be anonymous and we can pay a £300 fee. We can also fully credit any clinic or therapist. This email with personal information redacted to protect the identity of the source is below. Yeah, basically. I'm urgently trying to speak to the family, whereas a child, again, this motherfucker cannot spell for an email to save his life, where a child has become addicted to Fortnite. We need this to be as strong as possible. The case study can be anonymous. Blah, blah, blah. Same thing I read before. Eurogamer responded to this. Over email, I asked Barber a number of questions relating to his Fortnite story in the Mirror. 1. Did the teen suffer from any diagnosed or undiagnosed mental health problems at the time of the suicide attempt? Number 2. How did the teen have access to amphetamines? I can't say this is addressed in the story. Number 3. The story claims Fortnite made the teen debt-ridden, but I can't see this explained. Who was he in debt with? By how much? Number 4. How did you find the family of the teen who attempted suicide? And 5. Can you confirm the family of the teen who attempted suicide were paid for the story? Barber's response: am I being paid to provide these answers? I also asked the Mirror's parent company, Reach, a similar set of questions regarding this backlash to the story. I've yet to hear back, but that's not surprising. This week, the company announced it is slumped to a $113 million half-year loss after slashing its value of regional publishing operations. I suspect the PR department is a little busy dealing with that. Fair enough. And what about Steve Pope, the counsellor who's helping the teen? Again, that name was mentioned up. It plugged his council office. He's yet to respond to Eurogamer's request for comment, even after multiple phone calls. But it's worth noting, Pope is no stranger to the UK media. He's been on ITV this morning in a Jerry McKell documentary. Jerry McKell, for those of you outside of Europe, is essentially Jerry Springer, but the dude's angrier. Okay. And on the BBC discussing video game addiction, which he treats at his clinic. The plug in the Mirror won't hurt, will it? There's no evidence yet. This is an important bit that I feel like it needs to be pointed out and stressed. There's no evidence to suggest that the Mirror's Fortnite story was fabricated. But when you pull back the curtain and discover how these types of articles are put together, when you understand how some mainstream journalism works, it's hard not to wonder about the motivations of the party involved. This kind of story also tarnishes the good work some reporters do in the mainstream media around video games. There is often a divide between those who know games and report on them, for example, the tech game sections of newspapers, and those who work on the news or feature desks of newspapers, who are charged with putting together a tight headline. So, this was a tweet that was followed up on the Chris Pratt thing. Ryan Brown, who is a writer for the Mirror's online games journalism team. I can't say it's the best games journalism available, but it's certainly not quite as bad as some of the shit they're printing in the actual newspaper version of the Mirror. It actually seems like these people care about games and are actually not willing to throw out wild headlines like that. Apparently, I'm just going to read the tweet. As a games writer for the Mirror, I'd just like to affirm that this is complete bollocks. I wish they had conferred with us before printing this. There's no point in having games coverage ever going to run stuff like this in print. Absolute bullshit. As I've said, I believe video game addiction is a very real issue. That's up for debate. It is a real issue for a lot of people. I'll concede that. I believe the World Health Organization did actually release a confirmed disorder called video game addiction, but some of the symptoms of it were a bit sketchy to me, and some of the hours you had to be playing to qualify for video game addiction, it seemed too low. But I realise that some people do have actual addiction to video games. You can have an addiction to anything, and it is a real issue. So, continuing on. It's a very real issue that the industry should face up to, but the Mirror's reporting is irresponsible, to say the least. According to Samaritans, journalists should avoid oversimplification when it comes to stories about suicide. Approximately 90% of people who die by suicide have a diagnosed or undiagnosed mental health problem at the time of death, Samaritans point out. Oversimplification of the causes or perceived triggers for suicide can be misleading and is unlikely to reflect accurately the complexity of suicide. For example, avoid the suggestion that a single incident, such as a loss of job, relationship, breakdown, or bereavement, was the cause. It is important not to brush over the complex realities of suicide and its devastating impact on those left behind. Yeah, that's the full article. That's essentially the whole story about this Fortnite debacle. This just pissed me off when I saw it. I tend to shrug off most of the UK newspapers nowadays when I see them in shops, just because I never read them, and when I do happen to catch a headline, I just sigh and go, "That's the way it is." No self-respecting human being would actually read these. But some of this shit pisses me off, man. It just gets to me. And I want to talk a bit more about how the UK, just how bad this is for the UK press as it stands. Let me open up some of my other things here. So yes, this is I'm a big fan of John Cleese, as many of you know, and he is a big advocate for how the press is fucked in this country. And he was sharing a story done out by a European Commission, which essentially they take this survey every year where they talk about how for each country in the 27 member state of the European Union, they survey 1,000 people to be representative of the population, and they ask how trustworthy they think their journalism and printed media is. So this is the statistics for the latest one, which came out in 2017. You can see up here what is the Netherlands with a solid 71%, Albania, Finland, Denmark, Sweden, Austria, Portugal. And then you go further down the line, Ireland's around here, which is even surprising to me, about a 50 to 45 split. Then you go down to Czech Republic, Lithuania. Here's an average for the EU 28, 47% to 47%. Goes down and down and down and down and down until we reach the 33rd place. In last place, the United Kingdom, with a 23% trust in the media, a 73% distrust, and I don't know the math in my head. What does that leave for the undecided? Let's see, 94% undecided, I think. Yes. And this is not a recent thing either. This study has been carried out over a number of years. and it was last year. We actually placed last again, and we also placed last the year before that, and the year before that. So 4 years straight we've been doing this. I imagine in 2018 it'll be the same again. Yeah, it's idiotic how ridiculous. And if you want some examples, if you're not from the UK and you want some examples of how terrible the newspapers are, I brought up these examples of the last Sunday's headlines in the newspapers. Here's the Mail. Corbyn loses the plot over anti-Semitism. Exclusive. Meghan cut me off completely. Fowler's most explosive interview yet. The Independent. One of the better newspapers, but still biased. Right. The 1.4 million who have not had a say on Brexit. The Sunday Times exposed Qatar sabotage World Cup rivals with black ops. The Sunday Telegraph. Grassroots in open revolt over May's Brexit. The Sunday Mirror. More deadly Novichok dumped on the streets. Sunday People. Dad kills himself live on the internet. Sick trolls go to builder to take his own life. Sunday Express. Rat on your neighbour! Exclamation point. You can see there's a theme here with these. You can tell by the language they use. Plot. Anti-Semitism. Sabotage. Exposed. Black ops. Open revolt. Deadly. Kills. It's all very fear-inspiring language, and that's what these newspapers do. That's how they sell. The most common emotion for people to psychologically react to is fear. Fear and anger. And that's what these headlines are doing. They're promoting fear and anger in bold print on the front of their newspapers to try and sell copies. And it's clearly spreading misinformation. It's honestly terrible, and it really pisses me off sometimes. Another interesting thing, John Cleese is a big proponent of the how terrible the media is. He released a video on his YouTube channel recently where he did a sit-down interview with some of members of the UK press. I think both of these guys who had done things they're not proud of in the past for the sake of journalism, but they're now talking about it now and going back on it. They seem to have changed their ways. I'm just gonna show you a little snippet of this video. The full video is like 43 minutes long. I'll leave you to watch that if you're interested at all. But it's honestly pretty interesting if you're having an interest in that sort of thing. Oh my god, stumbling over my words, I'm too angry. But yeah, this is I'm just gonna let this play out.
All right, well, tell us about one stupid fake story that you cooked up.
So I remember Rebecca Brooks, who was the acting editor of the News of the World, and she came to me and she goes, I want you to go around the world and investigate unexplained phenomena. So the Loch Ness Monster.
The Loch Ness Monster?
Yeah.
And that's not
abominable snowman.
Oh, really?
In the Himalayas. And she wanted me to find Lord Lucan as well. And she was deadly serious, you know. And I said, well, yeah, okay, that's fine, because you can never say no to.
You can't say no. What happens if you say no? Do you get fired?
Well,
out?
Well, if you say no, you would. Yeah, if they'd ease you out, you'd end up with no job, you know, after a few months. So it's not an option. You wouldn't even think about it.
All right.
So the first one was go to Cornwall and track down the beast of Bodmin Moor. So me and the chief investigative photographer, who was kind of a high status guy at the News of the World, went down. We knew it didn't exist, so we went to Dartmouth Zoo. We took a picture of a puma.
A puma?
In a cage, yeah. Because someone had said it's probably a puma.
Somebody said the Loch Ness Monster is probably a puma.
Well, I would have had to. I mean, basically, she wanted she would have wanted a picture of the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
We didn't get to that. I sent the picture of the caged puma in,
The beast
along
department.
with a fabricated story saying how it attacked me in
It attacked you?
the earlier that morning.
Just want to pause here to say I apologise for John Cleese's laugh to any headphone users. It sounds like a siren going off, but he's just very old and very raspy.
Along with the photography, and we made
But I love John Cleese.
footprints in the mud.
They made footprints in the
To
mud.
cut a long story short,
This is the fourth estate.
That's essentially all I want to show. That line there basically sums it up. John Cleese pissing himself laughing and going, "This is the fourth estate," and that's what this is. This is supposed to be the thing in the democracy that balances it out for citizens. This is supposed to be the thing where information can be relayed to the public. If there's corrupt going on in the government, or if there's information that we desperately need to know, this is a way for this information to be spread without any need for government interaction, right? This is supposed to inform the people and make an informed population. It's supposed to be one of the pillars of the democracy, the fourth estate. Instead, we are writing about the beast of Dartmouth? I can't remember. The Loch Ness Monster and the Abominable Snowman. A girl who marries a 300-year-old pirate. A girl who spent, what was it, £25,000 on some bullshit, I don't even remember. It's genuinely frightening. I'm a huge fan of the show The Newsroom, and this is like if they made a show about an alternate universe of The Newsroom where it's the opposite and it's British. This is where we live. And the worst part about it is it's not like it's not like they find these stories and decide to print them instead of like actual useful political headlines. They have this weird idea and they're like, what if guys, we could find out that tattoos cause cancer? And it's not even like what if they can find out. They say, we're going to prove tattoos cause cancer. They start off with an agenda and they try their best to find someone who will verify that agenda, even if they're anonymous, and then they will print it. That's this Matthew Barber guy is just one example of the many examples in the press where he will start off with a thing. He knows what story he wants to write. He knows what the headline's going to be before it starts. And then he sends out mass emails. He offers to pay. I guess that's some compensation at least, but not nearly enough. And then he pulls and picks information that will make an exciting and headline that will instill fear. And then, yeah, it's Matthew Barber can eat a dick. The UK press sucks, and it needs to be fixed. I don't know how it's going to be fixed. There are some the online press in UK is a lot better. Even some reputable news sources like the BBC are hugely biased. There was just a thing that came out recently where they tried to suppress on a BBC interview with some guy. They were I can't remember what exactly the information was, but there was a report came out, something to do with Brexit. I wonder if I can find the video. But some report came out about Brexit. Let's see. Can I find this interview? It doesn't seem like I can. Perhaps I saved it. I wanna remember. It's just gone. I can't even remember the title of the video. Otherwise, I would look for it. Yeah. Anyway, blah. But it was something to do with some report that had been released by the EU, and this dude was like talking about how the findings in this report, and every time he made a point that the BBC didn't agree with, the host would interrupt him and say, "Well, that's allegations," and the dude becomes like no, this is not allegations. This report is filed. It's in the report. And it's like, no, but that you're claiming that. No, it's in the report. It's factual. It's right there. And you're trying to suppress it. Oh my god. Anyway, I could go on and on days ranting about how terrible the British press is. But honestly, it's not worth it. This is just me venting. I'll probably, like, next time I see a shitty headline in the shop, I'll ignore it. And I try my best to. The best thing we do to combat this is to try our best to find reputable news sources done by actual journalists. Think critically and constantly critique and criticize. I just said 3 words that mean the same thing. But constantly be aware that usually whatever you're reading has an agenda, and don't believe everything you read. So yeah, that was the topic of the day. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Let me know in the Twitch chat and the comments below. Let me know if your newspapers suck or whether you kind of trust them. But yeah, that was the thing I just needed to go off about today, I think. Just had to vent about that. But yeah, that was the topic of the day. Again, you can suggest your own topic of the day. We're coming up to the end of the show here. Because I need to get lunch and then start prepping to leave. Just on to the shoutouts. Remember, you can support the show in a number of ways if you are so inclined. You can follow on Twitch to be notified when I go live. You can subscribe on YouTube to see all the new videos. Again, these episodes do post to YouTube, and you might be watching it on YouTube right now. Hello, YouTube viewers. How are you doing? What are you wearing? I don't know, but yeah. You can subscribe on Twitch if you desire. By no means should you feel inclined to do so. But if you do, there's emotes available. And I just know that I'm working on subscription rewards. So that'll probably be talked about when I come back. One way you can interact with the community and start making some new friends to play games with stuff is go to my Discord, which you can find links down below for that, whether you're on YouTube or Twitch. Come hang out in Discord, meet new friends, be a cool guy or girl guy or guy girl. Anyway, you can. Last thing you do is follow me on Twitter if you so desire to keep updated with the various nonsense that I do in a day. And you'll probably want to do that now if you're not already following, since I'll be updating on many of the Canada trip adventures. But yeah, shoutouts to Howdy Man 64729. You need to take those numbers out, Howdy Man. But thank you for the follow nonetheless. I appreciate you very much. Yes, that's our only shoutout for the day. So yeah, thank you for this. Again, Crack of Noon is going to be on a 2-week hiatus, essentially, because I'll be off in Canada. So I want to thank you guys for sticking with me so far in this. Since the start, it's been super fun to do. But yeah, yes, I think I'll flee the country now, because you know what? I've done this big rant on the British press and how Brexit is happening. It sucks here, and I'm sick of it. I don't want to live in this shitty country anymore. I don't want to be in it. I don't want to be in Northern Ireland where we have no government. I don't want to be here where beta is. I want to be in Canada, the land where the maple syrup flows through the rivers, the land where the moose run freely, the land where people say sorry all the time. I love it. God bless you, Canada. I salute you.
jokes on America. Make America great again. Make Canada great always.
Leaving. I'm fleeing the country.
Bye, everyone.
Had to come back to stop the recording. Can't just sort of leave like that. Just doesn't stop. I'll be back in 2 weeks.